Happy holidays. This is your boy Landon, aka DJ New Spirit, also known as LandRyu513 on the Capcom Fighters Network. I hope each and every one of you are healthy, happy, blessed, you're safe, you're warm, and most importantly, you and your loved ones are just full of joy during this holiday season. We're going to talk about Street Fighter V Champion Edition. As you all know, during the week after the final Capcom Pro Tour, they released a new balance patch for each character, the overall universal system changes, and with the inclusion of the VSkill 2 properties for each and every character. Now, after looking at everything that happened, of course, Ryu got some tremendous buffs. He ended up getting, most importantly, the crouch and medium kick. V-Trigger 1 buff, he ended up getting that, where he no longer suffers from duration or consumption of the Fireball, Raiko, Hadouken, or the Shoryuken Dragon Punch. So he no longer takes any kind of consumption with that. He also got the inclusion of the EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI, which allows you to do a low kick Tatsumaki juggle from any portion of the stage. But for intensive purposes, I guess they have it to where you either have to be at the near the wall area of the stage in order to pull off the medium kick or the hard kick Tatsumaki off of the EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI. Now, there still are some things, and first and foremost, I believe Ryu sits in a good place, but there still are some things that I believe Capcom can address. And we're talking about things as far as what they did and what they didn't do, and leading into that of VSkill 2. We're going to talk about that here right now. Beginning on the list of improvements will be Standing Medium Punch. Standing Medium Punch is still +5 on act or startup, and far as being plus on block is +1. If you would vary your pressure, it could be easily interrupted if you're doing the standard Standing Medium Punch chain. So in addition to this, I believe the attack should go to +2 on block, which will give Ryu some added versatility. It's not going to be an increased or a tremendous buff, but this would actually give Ryu a little bit more verifiable pressure in terms of what he can do against the opponent. So if you're using Standing Medium Punch, it's very wise to actually kind of variate or layer your pressure strings when going against the opponent. On to the second thing on the list, Ryu's crouching medium kick. It has received a tremendous buff, being crouching medium kick on block -1, as well as it getting its full extension of its hitbox. But the problem still is that it's still massaging the foot of certain characters. This needs to stop. If you look at other games, many of the moves did not whiff like this. Some probably did, but you shouldn't have to whiff a move like this. The extension needs to be increased to its furthest. It's okay as a block string or as a poke tool, but it needs to be a true block or a true poke tool. This needs to stop. And another thing that needs to happen is, if possible, Ono-san, if you're listening, Capcom, if you're listening, crouching medium kick needs to be sped up. I say, to be fair, make it a startup of +6. So no more +7, +6 on startup, -1 on block, and an extension of its furthest hitbox that needs to be addressed very quickly. Third on the list, we will talk about the EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI. Now, it has been increased greatly for speeds and with a relaxed juggle state. But with the relaxed juggle state, it's a bit meticulous, meaning it's not always accurate. So if you do this, you can do the Tatsumaki, but it has to be very quickly. This can actually be a issue later on in the road in tournament play, etc. And it's very important to have an increased relaxed juggle state. So with that being stated, with the relaxed increased juggle state, everything is space dependent. So if you guys watch this, you do that, and then you're still missing the hard kick Tatsu, or you're still missing the medium kick Tatsu. But it has to be done very quickly. So it's like your back has to literally be near the wall in order to do that attack. Same thing in terms of the hard kick version. That'd be the only way that you're able to do that. So it's very meticulous in the way that happens. So in order to bring Ryu back to his prominence, Ono-san, Capcom, make EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI give it more of a relaxed juggle state, so therefore Ryu can confirm in any space of the stage, any space, not just one particular space, not just in the corner, in every particular part of the stage. And I'll show you guys in the next clip of what I mean. So in the third phase of EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI, with the increased or relaxed juggle state, while in SANRENGEKI, you all know that if you do a light kick tatsu, you can do the EX Dragon Punch. But when you do EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI and you do it, you're still whiffing the Dragon Punch, the EX version of Dragon Punch. So EX version of Dragon Punch, just as well as the Light Punch version of the Dragon Punch, we would like to see a much more relaxed juggle state instead of having to be corner dependent in doing so, and yet you're still whiffing. That needs to change. I think that the low kick tatsu or medium kick tatsu, verifiably, its properties can change to a air state, which will allow Ryu to have air juggle or combo potential. This will make Ryu very dangerous in the long run. Now on to our fourth phase. We've talked about the Dragon Punch essentially, especially getting juggle potential. But what we like to see is this. After any version of the Dragon Punch, Ryu should have Oki potential. So a dash dash, and then you have to actually vary your pressure. If Ryu could actually get good pressure off of his Dragon Punch, I think that would essentially make Ryu very dangerous. And that we're not talking about making Ryu OP. We just want Ryu to not only just be fun, but also at the same time bring Ryu back to prominence. Ono-san, Capcom, if you guys are listening, Dragon Punch, Oki potential. He needs to have Oki. So one of the biggest offenses to every Ryu main that's out there is the thrust strike. Ono-san, if you are listening, thrust strike is way too slow. Again, Ono-san, Capcom, thrust strike is way too slow. Startup of 27 frames. That is too slow. I recommend either being a startup of either 18 or 20. If that, even the speed of solar plexus strike, 17. And also, it's -4 on block. -4. The opponent has a free punish, and there is no verifiable way of starting good pressure right behind that. And it's an eyesore, honestly. Daigo even complained about this attack. Like, look at this. I'm still getting hit. I'm still getting hit. I have to literally time the opponent's attack to do such, and it's downright embarrassing. This is atrocious, honestly. And then to really get things going, you have to, you guys, it's embarrassing, honestly. I can't even condone how bad that is. And what needs to happen with this is this. Long story short, I can't. Okay, so what needs to happen is this. For thrust strike essentially, I think the damage needs to be upped to Dragon Punch damage. That or a little higher. It's a counterattack. So I'd say instead of it being 120 far as the counter state should at least be 200 in my opinion. I think that's more than fair. I think this attack should give Ryu juggle potential as well. If Capcom really wants to make Ryu a defensive attacker or a defensive counter striker, or at least his counterpart of him being some type of counter striker with defense properties like Goken or Master Goken, armor property will work as well too. Some type of armor property if they're going to keep the attack the way that it is, or at least speed it up. Damage, as far as regular damage, it needs to be 140 instead of 120 at least, or at least 150. Counter state should be 200. In addition to that, as far as its other properties, you should be able to V-trigger cancel into that. It needs to have V-trigger cancel. You can't even V-trigger cancel it either. Like, you can't even do that. It's underwhelmingly weak. Capcom needs to modify this and address this ASAP before the February patch or the February Game of Champion edition comes out. Okay, so one thing that can actually change for KAKKO FUBATSU, also known as V-Trigger 2, is the allowance of the startup being +1. So Ono-san, Capcom, if you are listening, startup of 1, startup of 1, startup of 1, not 2. Also, I think with that being stated, it should have a relaxed crumple state. So with the relaxed crumple state, okay, you should be able to solar plexus into the opponent or add an additional depth of damage. So therefore, Ryu can get extreme damage, as well as to a point to where the opponent would think twice about making one bad move, and that's all it is to it. If characters can have robbery V triggers, I think this would really give Ryu a depth of robbery as well. So in essence, I'd say that this needs to happen. One thing that I would like to say that needs to happen for Ryu in this version or the upcoming patch for Champion Edition is the use of standing heavy punch being special move cancelable, as well as the JOUDAN SANRENGEKI of his mid-chain attack being special move cancelable. There are a myriad of characters in this game that can do target combos into special moves. Ryu happens to be one of the very few that can't do that, and having that ability to do that off the mid-chain off a JOUDAN SANRENGEKI, as well as a normal standing heavy punch, the JOUDAN SANRENGEKI needs to release the suspended properties of not allowing Ryu to special move cancel into a attack. So you need standing heavy punch while in V-Trigger 1 or V-Trigger 2 animation to do the attack essentially. So that needs to happen. So I shouldn't have to wait for the move to do that. JOUDAN SANRENGEKI, again, Ono-san, Capcom, if you are listening, should allow Ryu to special move cancel into his attacks, just as well as standing heavy punch being special move cancelable without V-Trigger 1 or V-Trigger 2. All right, so that pretty much is some things that I would like to potentially see happen for Ryu. Again, Ryu sits in a good spot, but I think with some of these quirks, I think Ryu will be more than just a competitor. VSkill 2 actually is a travesty. It has its usage, but it's really underwhelming. It's missing that spice. You know, maybe add some armor properties to that, like the focus attack, or that of the focus attack dash cancel, damage, and then it's just too slow in startup. It's way too slow. You have characters in this game such as Colleen and even out of our Mika that actually have faster startup than Ryu doing his thrust attack, and I think they need to do a better job with that. Capcom, Ono-san, Capcom fighters, if any of you guys are listening, develop the Capcom devs. This is important. I think this needs to be checked out and taken care of before February. You have to think that you want to stop being scared of making Ryu strong. You want Ryu to be a balanced character, but if you are going in this direction that you want Ryu to be a defensive counter striker, which essentially is his archetype or his character type altogether, as a counter striker or a defensive mid-range to pseudo offensive fighter, then it's important to give Ryu those attributes and do it correctly. This is an eyesore, and this is a smack in the face to every Ryu fan that's out there, even to those that's not even a Ryu fan. Basically to players that play this game. This game is legacy. So it's important for Ryu to get these things adjusted. Crouching medium kick, JOUDAN SANRENGEKI, the The release of the suspended animation, which wouldn't allow you to do a special move cancel, which this time they should allow him to be able to chain cancel off of JOUDAN SANRENGEKI. The inclusion of the standing heavy punch being special move cancelable. Shoryuken having Oki potential off of his attack. EX JOUDAN SOKUTOU GERI having more of a much more relaxed juggle state opportunity to hit from all sides using Tatsu of any level, of any strength, as well as being able to get more juggle potential while in the corner, and then also an increased relaxed juggle state with normal Dragon Punch and off a low kick Tatsu, which would allow him to have juggle properties and potential in corner or in any part of the stage. These things are imperative, these things are very important, and it's important for Capcom to really understand the direction of where they're going to go with their franchise or flagship character. This is very important. I think I've said enough at this point. You guys write down in the description or in the comments below if you felt that I've missed something, and please share this video with each and every one of your friends, your rivals, whoever it may be, anybody in the FGC, and as well as to the point of just Ryu mains in general. So bring back Ryu back to his prominence. He's there, but he's close, but no cigar. Getting there. But we appreciate the effort that's been going in there, and that's not to disrespect Capcom, but at the end of the day, you owe it to the flagship character to bring out his full potential. You guys showed what power that he is able to perform in the cinematic movie that came out that we had to play. I played with the Shadow Falls episode, but let him be strong. This is his time to shine. You know, Ryu has suffered in each and every aspect of every season up until this point. And I think this is probably the best that he's been in any season. But you want Ryu to be not only just balanced, but you want him to have that fearsome, intimidating counter-strike ability that let opponents know that you're not going to get away with murder. This is your boy Landon, aka DJ New Spirit out. I hope you guys are great. Enjoy the rest of the holiday season going into the new year. Peace, and take care, everybody. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.
We await your return, warrior.